When is putting your hand on your heart a requirement? Look, I try to do it. I can't say I do it every time. This isn't Colin Kaepernick kneeling. He was standing respectfully, along with everyone else, and listening to the national anthem after spending the whole pregame show interacting with and praising all those sailors with him. So now Strahan has responded.
We had our national anthem. I didn't have my hand over my chest. Everyone thought he's protesting. He's making a statement, which is so far from the truth. I have nothing to protest. I have no statement to be made. The only statement that should be made and that I want to make is I love the military. I've always loved the military, and I will always love the military. I do so many programs to help veterans and soldiers. I grew up on a military base with a father who's a major in the Army. My brother, my sister, my cousins, they all served in the military. I'm a military brat. And so the fact of somebody saying that, I'm unpatriotic couldn't be any further from the truth.
And his explanation for how it happened, well, it kind of makes sense.
And if you want the truth, I'll tell you the truth, is that I was caught up in the moment. I'm looking at all these young sailors standing there at attention before the national anthem played, and I'm thinking to myself, how incredible. And by the time I looked up from that moment, all my 5 guys had their hands over their hearts, the national anthem playing. I somewhat panicked, and I'm like, do I be the fool that puts his hand over his heart after? Or do I just stand here with my hand in front of me respectfully? Which that's what I did. That's what happened. And if that offended any of our military and veterans, I apologize to you, because that was never my intent.
Look, I consider Strahan to be a friend. He co-hosts Good Morning America, where I'm the chief legal analyst. But regardless, this sure feels like yet another effort at the gotcha culture we now see from both sides. Joining me now is Colonel Mark Zinno, an active Army reservist who is also a combat veteran. He also is an analyst on ESPN. Thanks very much for coming on. Appreciate it. What do you make of this?
Dan, great to be with you. Thanks for having me. The hypocrisy that we've hit is at levels that I can't even comprehend. If anybody has been to a sporting event anytime in the last, let's just call it 20 years, have you seen what goes on during the national anthem? People are walking, texting, eating, scrolling, conversing, going to the bathroom, doing 100 other things other than sitting there, respecting the anthem and putting their hand over their heart. And oh, by the way, the people who don't know, for military members like myself who are not in uniform, my requirement isn't to put my hand over my heart. My requirement is to stand there at the position of attention with my hands at my side and face the flag. So the hand over the heart thing, I don't know where all of a sudden this became like a mandate from people. But I would add one more thing, Dan. The national anthem isn't just for the military. I don't know why we always tie it back to the military. The national anthem belongs to all of us. Every single American and every single person in this country, it's our national anthem. It's not just the military's. Why we default to somebody disrespecting the anthem to disrespecting the military and not necessarily the general country is always a little bit of a weird, misplacement to me.
Well, and also, and look, because you are a media vet as well, you see what happens in the kind of the gotcha culture that we have now in the media. And this seems to fit in perfectly with this idea that someone can take a clip, mischaracterize it, and also ignore all of Strahan's work, right, for vets, for the military, all of that, and suggest, oh, he's just doing this on purpose.
It's a race for some sort of notoriety to get somebody in a gotcha moment, as you said, and it makes absolutely zero sense. Michael Strahan has a long list of things that he's done for the military throughout his entire career. He's always been a benevolent guy. He was a heck of a football player. He's transcended that into his next career. Getting mad at Michael Strahan for quote, disrespecting the anthem is shouting at the rain in its worst form. There's no reason for it. And again, for everybody who wants to sit there and pretend like every single time the national anthem is played that they respect it. I mean, no one, when you watch the game at home, Dan, no one's in your house. Stand up for the anthem and put your hand over your... No, I'm sure you're sitting on the couch, stuffing your face with chips, getting ready for your favorite team to kick off a football game. So don't act all upset and mad when Michael Strahan is there being respectful and listening to the anthem instead of talking, conversing, texting, and doing everything else.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.